Alright, dog, let's just fucking talk about it. Fucking Fallout's coming out. And well, I don't know if you know me. Nobody really knows me, but I fucking love Fallout, okay? And I'm kind of pissed. So I'm gonna be like looking these over. And I'm gonna look at some of the decks. I'm gonna look at some of the cards, see how I feel about it. I'm just probably gonna be skipping around. I don't think I really want to like go over deck viability today, but I'm gonna be looking at characters and seeing how it relates. First off, having Dogmeat as the commander, that's cool and all, but why isn't it a partner? Why isn't there like a partner system where like you could have Kate as a partner and Dogmeat as a partner, and maybe it's like a background type thing where you can have a whole bunch of partners, but you have to have like a normal something pair with a background. Have the Lone Wander be something like a Crystalline Giant where it enters with like a different like it's like a character creator. Like it enters with your choice of a +1/+1 trample, vigilance, and blah 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 counter. Like it's like a character creator. It doesn't do much, but like these are partners in the game. All right, that would give it like just a flavor win. Even if the Lone Wanderer is a prismatic piper that just adds one of any color, I don't care. All right, I just think that would be better than not having them at all. And I know that's really hard. How do you represent them? All that. That's how I would do it. Okay. Dogmeat. So when it enters the battlefield, you mill 5, return an aura or equipment card from your graveyard to your hand. Dogmeat will help you scavenge the wasteland. You can have him go fetch things. I think that's a cool ability. He creates junk, pretty close to what he does in game. I'm 100% down with that. Um, Kate Cage Brawler. So Kate, if you don't know in the game, I believe she's Irish. But you meet her in Nuka World. I think it's Nuka World. She's a cage fighter. And you take up her contract because, uh, like her friend manager wants her to get help because she's like addicted to chems. She was like sold into slavery and she had to steal from people and bought herself out of slavery. She's a really interesting character and her story is really deep. Um, so on your turn, she has indestructible. Okay, she's a cage fighter. She fights. That makes sense. I think she's undefeated in the game, so having indestructible makes sense. You and defending player each draw a card, then discard a card. Put two +1/+1 counters if the discarded card with the highest, like if you had the highest mana value. Um, I'm not really sure how that connects to her in game. I don't really know how I feel about that. I I guess it's hard. I feel like maybe it would have been better to give her a. Here I go again. I think they should have been a partner, even if it not a partner. Have her have a like a bond with what's that ability? I think is it Deadeye Navigator that has it. Yeah, Soul Bond. Have her have Soul Bond and have her start with -1/-1 counters that'll represent her addiction. And while she's soul bonded with something, slowly remove the counters because as she goes with the Lone Wanderer, she improves as a person. I think that would have been way more flavorful, and we keep the indestructible ability to, hold in that she's undefeated. I just really don't understand the secondary ability at all. Gunner Conscript, Ian the Reckless. That's a cool Pure Steel Paladin. That card is not going to be worth anything at this point, though. They just keep reprinting it. Like we have the Secret Lair reprint. I think Commander Masters had a reprint. Yeah, Commander Masters, Forgotten Realms, Secret Lair. I think the Secret Lair one's probably still the coolest, but this is pretty sick. A lot of these are pretty cool. Codsworth again could have had like the partner pair with whatever, but it benefits your commander, so I think that really works. Granted, your commander in this deck is Dogmeat, so I don't know if Codsworth and Dogmeat really work together, but whatever. Moira, Three Dog. Now this is one I really want to play. I saw this card when spoiler season was happening. So when you attack, you pay 2, and you can sacrifice an aura attached to it. When you sacrifice an aura this way, you put a copy of that aura on each other attacking creature. So if you sacrifice, I think it's Atali's. trying to think of the Preston, Mr. House, Three Dog. So if you sacrifice Itali's favor, you're gonna get to discover three each time it enters the battlefield. So if you create like 4 or 5 copies, that's a lot of value. You can do things like burning with Galvanic Arc, exiling cards with Chains of Custody, drawing cards with Rune of Sustenance. There's a lot of things you can do with it, and I think it's a really cool, really flexible ability that I think he'll make a good commander, especially when he. Oh, he's $1.25 now. He was like $20 the other day, I guess because it just released. But yeah, I think it's a really fun, cool commander. Veronica, Cass. There's certain characters I only know so much about, so I'm not really going to be commenting. Creston Garvey, on the other hand, this one's so fun. There's the meme's a classic at this point. Another settlement needs your help. I'll mark it on your map. And that's what he fucking does. And at the beginning of the combat on your turn, you create an aura attached to one land, and that land has enchanted land has add 1 mana of any color. So he's not giving you more mana. And then whenever he attacks, untap each enchanted permanent you control. This is really strong. This is more or less the second untap phase if you can, enchant all of your lands, that sort of thing. So that can be really strong. And if you're able to create a board state like that, I think it's going to be a very overwhelming, win the game after attacking kind of commander. Him putting settlements on your lands, that's pretty cool. We just had map tokens in Explorers of Ixalan, so if he would have done something with maps too, I think that would have been cool. Like, at combat, he creates a map. When you sack a map, you create a settlement. Something like that. But that also would have been pretty wordy, so don't mind me. Do whatever. I think this one's really fun. I think it's cool. I'm probably going to try and build a deck around it. Basilisk Collar. A lot of these are really cool reprints art-wise. Junk Jet. Oh, Silver Shroud costume. I'm really sad that the Silver Shroud wasn't, like, in the set from what I've seen, because I can't remember what I was actually supposed to be doing, but I was raiding this one place. It was like, I can't remember what it was, but I kept dying over and over because I was just terrible at fighting. And I would, like, continuously listen to the one section of the Silver Shroud story because I just kept dying. So I love the character. I think it's really, you could go look up Silver Shroud audio story, like, on YouTube. Just listen to the whole thing. It's super fun. I think it's one of the best parts of the radio in Fallout, so that's cool. The bobbleheads, this is probably one of the weaker ones. So bobbleheads get stronger with the number of bobbleheads you control. I think that's cool. It really doesn't help in the decks themselves because I think there's only one bobblehead in this deck. So you're going to look at the top one card of your library and you can cast a spell with mana value 3 or less. I think they're perfectly suitable mana rocks. That's definitely one of the weaker ones. Good reprint in Heroic Intervention. Inventory Management's pretty cool. Breakdown, Chaos Warp. Yeah, that text 100% for her. Megaton's Fate. Abundant Growth. This deck is really hard for me because I think it's cool. I think, it's a Voltron deck. It's dog meat Voltron, but it's also trying to do a little bit of the Preston Garvey stuff, which doesn't entirely fit in. I know technically anything that you enchant with an aura gets untapped, so if you attack with creatures, they'll untap too. But I just don't think it entirely works. Squirrel Nest, yeah. I mean, it's a lot of cool stuff. Reaper Sprint. I mean, the deck seems okay. Value-wise, $90. I think the reprint value of lands wasn't really great, but I mean, I don't know what I was really expecting. Um, they look sick though. Everything in the set looks sick. Mutant Menace, Mothman. I know was really big in Fallout 76. I didn't play much of 76 because it was bad, so I stopped playing. Um, Looking wise, Feral Ghoul. Yeah, that checks out. I think the radiation mechanic is really cool. I mean, so it's a mill and burn ability, but I see it more as a burn ability than a mill ability. It's like if you've ever played Pokemon, it's like Future Sight. It's damage that's gonna be done. It's just not done this turn. I think I'm probably gonna be if I pick up any of the decks, I'm picking up this one because I think the mutants are cool. I think I'm probably gonna end up trying to build a mutant tribal deck. Um, I don't. Why would they make it the Nuke launcher? Like that's cool and all, but like it's not as iconic as the fucking the Fat Man launcher. Like I don't know. The Nuke launcher is it's a mod for the Fat Man launcher. It's just not. It's as cool. Power Fist, sick, iconic weapon. Um, Strength bobblehead. So put X +1/+1 counters on target creature, where X is the number of bobbleheads you control. This tops out at 7. Like it's okay, but I wouldn't really say that's anything special. At least you don't have to like sacrifice it or anything. Um, yeah. Atomize, Radstorm. Radstorm, I think is kind of cool, but I think Radstorm has the potential to make Planeswalker, Super Friends decks, whatever, a lot better, but it's still not really that good. Nuclear Fallout has sick art. I think this might actually be a new, like a pretty widely seen card. Twice X, it's better than Meat Hook Massacre in that extent, and then each player getting X rad counters. Even if it's just 5, that's your opponents are guaranteed to at least mill 5, take 5. That includes you too, but it it's fine. The cool casualty of war. Yeah, the war never changes quote. It's a classic Fallout. Yeah, branching evolutions I think has not been reprinted. Oh, it was reprinted. Damn. Still a good reprint. Insanity. Oh, the Puppet Man, or not the Puppet Man. The I know a good chunk of Fallout lore, but I can never remember names. But he's a guy with puppets. He wanders the wasteland. I really want. I forget where he's mentioned. I believe in Fallout 4. There's a guy who's really good at making sounds. Like he was able to scare off a group of raiders by making the clicking sound of pulling out a grenade pin, doing a throwing motion, and like making gunshot sounds with his mouth. And that just sounds really funny, and I want to see like how they would do it, you know. Um Again, Mutant Menace, pretty cool deck. A lot of the art's really sick. I don't really know a lot of the lore there. Um Oh, Rex. I think Rex is going to be an interesting deck. I have started to put together a list for him. I think something interesting you could do is Soliton. If you exile Soliton with Rex, he'll be able to untap himself for 1. And then if you have Vidalcan Engineer, that's infinite mana to spend on artifacts, which is cool. I think there's things you can do with Rex. I'm just not entirely sure. So if you read him over, he deals combat damage to a player. They mill 2, and you get 2 energy. Pay 2 energy, exile a card or a creature from a graveyard with a brain counter on it, and he has the ability of creatures with brain counters on them. So, like, it seems almost pointed to want to take your opponent's stuff, but I think it's going to work better taking your own stuff. So, I'm a little 50-50 on it. Liberty Prime is a sick commander. Uh, Definitely really cool. I'm probably going to try and do a build around it. Um, let's see. Let's look at the bobbleheads. So, Endurance bobblehead gives X target creatures +1/+0 and indestructible. That's pretty. The indestructible part is what's good. Being able to pay 3 to give something indestructible at any time. Activate only as a. Okay. No, this is bad. Activate only as a sorcery kills the ability from being. I mean, it's still okay. You can use it before combat, but if your opponent knows everything has indestructible, like, they're not gonna do shit. So, eh. Intelligence bobblehead, draw X, where X is the number of bobbleheads. You're never gonna have all 7 bobbleheads out. 7, I think it's 7. Yeah, you're not gonna have all 7 out. So at best, you're paying 5 and getting like 4. Like it doesn't feel like it's quite worth it. For what you're paying. Open the Vaults is a cute addition. Over Encumbered, I think is really funny, but I think it's only going to work against certain types of deck, and I think it might actually hurt you in certain types of decks, because if an opponent can use a clue, food, and junk token, if they can just sacrifice that to draw cards and whatever, then it's more or less useless. Again, land base. I have noticed these have a lot of lands. I don't know if maybe all precons do, and I just don't notice it, but like 37 lands seems like a lot. No, this is playing 37 too. Huh. I usually keep it to like 34. It seems crazy to me. So when Caesar attacks, you sacrifice another creature. You can draw, create 2 red and white soldiers, or deal damage to target opponent equal to the number of creature tokens you control. I think Caesar is really cool. I like being able to deal damage in other ways. Like, one of my favorite burn spells is fucking not Mob Rule. Does I have to say? Is it Mob? Is it Mob? No, it's. Yeah, it's Mob Justice. I really like dealing damage equal to the number of creatures you have. So doing something like that with Caesar is really cool. I think I'm going to try and do a different build around him. Butch Deloria, if I remember correctly, he's just this asshole kid who picks on you before you get frozen in Fallout New 3. I can't remember which one. And then you wake up and he's still kind of an asshole. The fact he works for rogues is cool. I know his name is Tunnel Snake, but the fact he actually is Snake Tribal is kind of funny. It's whatever. Gary Clone. It's from this vault in, I think, Fallout. It's 3. I get vaults confused a lot, but they turn it into a cloning experiment, but they only clone this one guy named Gary, and all they say is Gary. So it's definitely funny, and bringing back the squad mechanic from Warhammer is really cool. I'm glad that it didn't just end there. General's Enforcer is a reprint, right? Yeah. I think Kellogg is actually really cool. So you sacrifice 5 treasures and gain control of target creature for as long as you control Kellogg. So he's who steals your son in Fallout 4, if I remember correctly. So... No, it's not Fallout 4. Fuck. Ugh. My Fallout knowledge is fucking killing me today. Because I really enjoy the games. I like the lore. I like the story. I listen to stuff about it from time to time. I love Fallout, but I can never remember names, games. Like it kills me because there's so much going on in the world of Fallout. There's vaults doing this, vaults doing that. There's, fucking aliens. Like everything's everywhere in Fallout, and I can never remember names. So when he attacks, you create a treasure, sacrifice 5 treasures, gain control of a creature. I think that's really cool. Um, I I always have this problem with like claim the firstborn and abilities like this though, where Flavor Fleet, yeah, you get the creature that makes sense for kidnapping, but why would that creature then fight for you? Like I never really get that. Like if you play Goat Nap and you steal a goat, it gets +2/+0, but why would it then fight its owner? Like I that never really makes sense to me, but it's whatever. Morbid Opportunist, good, not really like a good reprint. I just like Morbid Opportunist. Overseer of Vault 76. I'm assuming from Fallout 76. Yes, man. Definitely really cool art on Legate Lanius. Pillows Plunder, actual good reprint. Sierra. Skull Clamp. Let's see. Talismans. I do love these talismans. Charisma Bobblehead creates X11 soldiers, where X is the number of bobbleheads you control. That's okay. Creating 7 for 4 could be good if you do have them all out. Luck Bobblehead. Oh, there's 6 of them. Sorry, not 7. That makes it a lot worse. Not like a lot worse, but like uh, it's like gates for Maze's End. All right, the more gates you print, the better Maze's End gets because the better chance like the gate actually works for your deck or anything like that, really. Or like there's more gates to get, right? There's only 6 bobbleheads. It would automatically be better to have 7. It wouldn't make sense because that's not how the stats work in Fallout. It's based on special. Fuck it. I don't fucking remember anymore. I'm so tired. Um. Oh, there are 7. There are 7. I was right. Okay, so 7. Wow, this was all been pointless. I should cut this out. Um. Okay, so you roll X 6-sided die, and you create a tap treasure token for each even result. Because it costs 1, I think that's fine. And if you roll 6 exactly 7 times, you win the game. I like that. I like alternate win cons. However, that's never fucking happening. You're never. What? Okay, so the chances of rolling 6 7 times. That's just 6 to the 7th power. All right. We'll just put that. We'll put that in a fucking calculator. Go put that in a calculator. All right. What are the chances? Low? I'm gonna say low. All right. If I ever see this pulled off, I will be so incredibly impressed. I will suck your dick on the spot if you can pull that off. I don't even care if you have reroll effects or whatever. All right? That's just yeah. I love how it has to say if you rolled 6 exactly 7 times. Like how many other times are you going to roll it? I guess you could use mechanized production and things like is it mechanized production to copy your artifacts and then you'll have a better chance because you'll have more bobbleheads. But again, it ugh. Um, Anguish of Making, Wear and Tear, Lethal Scheme. Vats is really cool as a card, giving it split second. Marshall Coup, Heroic Reinforcements, Nipton Lottery. I really like the Nipton Lottery. I think that's cool. I like Random. Random is good. Ruinous Ultimatum, good reprint. I think there's a lot of good reprints. This fucking card, this is the one. I saw this shit. So you skip your draw step. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play those cards this turn. So this is like a red Phyrexian Arena, kind of. Hear me out. Because Phyrexian Arena, you pay you lose a life, you draw a card, but you're drawing two. This is impulse drawing you two. So it's not as good, right? But you're also not losing life. It's so weird because I think this card is like potentially busted. I don't know. It seems really freaking good. Like it seems really strong to me, but I always like overestimate how good things like that would be. Cuz like we do have something similar in Furious Rise. So at the beginning of your end step, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card until you exile another card with Furious Rise. Sure, Furious Rise has a prerequisite, but getting a creature with power 4 or greater really isn't that hard. They're basically doing the same thing, except Furious Rise lets you keep your draw step. Um, I don't know. Oh, like, I feel like it could be really good, though. Um, but yeah, like, let me know what you guys are thinking. I don't know. I feel like there are good thoughts here, but I feel like there's wasted potential in having it be commander decks. Cause so they have I'm not entirely sure how these work, how you get these, but there are cards that aren't in the commander decks, that are like reprints but in cool Fallout style, like Ravages of War and Farewell. These look sick. We have, I think this might be in the command. Yeah, I think this is in the commander decks, but we have like the weird, yeah, the menu looking ones. We have the cool looking, creatures that are like reflavored. Um, and I think these are all really cool. So I think Fallout would have done a lot better as a full set, or just like something, because there's so many iconic creatures and iconic things that I guess fitting in a commander deck does give them a lot of room, but it just doesn't feel like enough, in a sense. Um, yeah, yeah, because a lot of these are like really cool art. Like this Vats is sick as fuck. Like th- this nuclear fallout is so fucking cool. All right, like I think all of this art is really cool. And I'm not entirely sure. Um, but let me know what you guys are thinking. Do you have ideas for Fallout cards? Like ideas of what things should do, how it should have been done differently, like that sort of thing. Um, Let me know in the comments. I want to hear your ideas. Custom cards that would have been cool to have in the set, characters that you feel like should have been represented. And I didn't like go over the set, but to be honest, I haven't really been feeling up to much of anything, let alone a set review. So just let me know what you're thinking. And MTG Man signing off.